Hello my dear Gemini, this is your love and spirituality reading for the time between December 1st and December 15, 2017 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. So I used Modern Spellcasters Tarot by Melanie Marquise and illustrated by Scott Murphy, and I will start shuffling your cards. So my dear Gemini, when I open the deck here, I see 10 of Swords and 6 of Pentacles. So for many of you, you have had enough, or another person have had enough, and there needs to be more balance in your life situations and in your relationship. It's like enough is enough. You can't give anything more if the other person doesn't start to give, or the other person can't give you anymore if you don't start to give. So it seems like winds of change are here. I call the divine with love and light. Tired of a relationship. I call the 4 archangels in the 4 corners of the world and all the fighting. And I call the 6 elements: earth, wind, fire, water, spirit, and ether to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Gemini viewers. So I want my dear Gemini to have love in their lives and to find themselves in loving relationships. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. We have seen the Star card among others. You are being very divinely guided. We also see a lot of emotional cards, 2 of Cups and the Queen of Cups. So it might be that you're dealing with a water sign or someone that's very emotional, or you are very emotional. We also saw the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords has, like the Hermit, a little bit of lonely energy towards her. It's I think in this case the Queen of Swords are starting to be able to communicate. It's like you're being able to communicate your needs instead of you don't sacrifice yourself for other people anymore. You rather be alone and work on your own foundation than to give to other people if they don't give to you. So it's like the Queen of Swords has gotten her voice back. She will tell no. She will preserve her own energy. She will tell people what she sees. It's like not being really afraid of conflicts anymore, because you can be able to manage without other people. It's like you really want other people in your life, and it's very hurtful for you that the relationship doesn't work out, or when there are relationships that doesn't work out. We had the 10 of Swords also, and here you have the 9 of Swords. But I think that you want like a more genuine, you want more genuine relationships where you really feel loved, where you really feel the companionship, and that people are actually like working together, not being enemies. You want something that's more heartfelt. Okay, so I also want to take the chance to tell you that Venus, Queen of Swords and the Hermit. Okay, Venus is moving from Scorpio to Sagittarius December 2nd. So in many of the other readings, Queen of Cups that you had when I shuffled came as Scorpio. So it might be that when Venus leaves Scorpio and goes into Sagittarius, it will give you like a feeling that what you want counts. Sagittarius is very goal-oriented, like I want what I want. I'm not going to settle for anything like second best. So with the deep dive that we did in Scorpio, or are doing in Scorpio at this moment, because we are in the past here, it's when I'm doing this reading, the deep dive, it's like it went into the deep feminine side of people, like reconnecting them, plugging them into the connection with the divine again, which we need to do through our feminine side, to the vibrational parts of ourselves, the little bit random parts. And it seems like also your Queen of Swords will benefit from this with being more strong and decisive. You can sacrifice any kind of relationship if you feel that you need to. So and here you have the Knight of Swords as well. So also Mars is moving from Libra, another air sign, into Scorpio, water sign, December 9. Mercury is on the cusp Sagittarius Capricorn in the start of the month and stations December 3, and it starts to move retrograde back in Sagittarius until it stations again 23rd of December. So not only will Venus be in Sagittarius, but also Mercury is going retrograde back in Sagittarius during December, so it might be trouble with communication during the Christmas month. But the most important thing is that you will start to clean up with your communication. Like you will be more truthful and more honest and really stand up for who you are and what you believe and what you want and what you don't want. So Jupiter is moving direct in Scorpio, Saturn is in late degrees of Sagittarius and are moving direct, Pluto is moving direct in Capricorn, and Uranus is moving retrograde in Aries. So the Sun went into Sagittarius the 22nd of November and will move into Capricorn the 22nd of December, and we will have the super full moon in your sign, Gemini, December 3. New moon will be on the cusp Sagittarius and Capricorn December 18. So midsummer solstice will happen December 21st, the day before Sun moves into Capricorn at 16:28 UTC time. And the midwinter solstice is the real reason to why we celebrate Christmas. In Sweden it's called Jul, which means wheel. The spring equinox is Easter. The midsummer solstice is also largely celebrated in Sweden with a midsummer pole. And then we celebrate the Halloween, or in Sweden the All Nights of Saints, to replace the fall equinox. It is all a part of a very, very ancient calendar, which also all those astrological signs is a part of. A turn with the wheel to all the astrological signs is called a great year. The length of one cycle of 12 ages is 25,860 years. So we stay approximately 2,155 years in every sign. We went into the age of Pisces 68 BC and will go into the age of Aquarius 2087 AD. And it's the stars in the background of the spring equinox that determine in what age we are in. So my point is that we are living with a big ancient clock that is 26,000 years, like 1 year of that clock. Also, it has the minor solar years, but the universal year or the great year is 26,000 years. So it gives some credit to our ancestors to be able to calculate this on a very early age. Like we can see the astrological signs. The oldest I remember is from Dendera Temple of Egypt, so it might be like 4,000 to 6,000 years old, and it might be older encounters as well. And also in it's worldly spread. It's like in Egypt, and you can see it in South America before the Columbus. So it's rather amazing. So I think it's a remedy from a very ancient civilization that has a very that had a beautiful civilization in some way when it comes to astronomy, astrology and things like this, and we are just starting to remember it all again. So my dear Gemini, I will tune in and then I will continue your reading. Okay, so my dear Gemini, this is your future, and this is your now, and this is the past. So the past will be like October, November 2017, and we see the 10 of Wands here. So someone is carrying a big load, maybe of things that they want to say but not being able to, or they are trying to push themselves into doing things that might not come really natural for them. Like working very hard when you really want to sleep, for example. And here we have the first half of December 2017, and here we see death is coming. Death is Scorpio, so it's a little bit like late in the timing, but it might be that you are not going to be able to hold up this charade anymore with holding back any kind of information or any kind of natural behavior or longing or your soul's needs and wants. So you're going to have to sacrifice. You are working very hard for a reason. Maybe you don't want to lose your face. Maybe you don't want to lose your worldly titles, your place of work, your family members, your friends, your partner. So you might keep in with a lot of things that you really want to say. Maybe you don't want to lose your dignity as well. But with the Death card, it's like this volcano is about to erupt and it might cause damage. But I think Death card is a wonderful card because it kind of states like that a person will have to change for you, or you will have to change to become more true to yourself or true your soul's longing. That might be another person. So when we sacrifice like this for our soul's needs and wants or the love of another person, we truly become great in many ways, because we are becoming very courageous, facing danger like that. And here is the future, and we have the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords came like in this position for Aries, and they also had the 10 of Wands, but in the actual reading, this is the future, so the second part of December. So it seems like first you are not telling what it is, and then big death comes, and then you tell the truth. So something will change and shift in the beginning of December. That will make you be able to tell the truth, or make someone else be able to tell the truth for you. But Ace of Swords it's like a challenge, so it's not going to be over. Just the person says the truth and everything is fine. It's more like, well, then the work begins, like blood, sweat and tears, victory at last. So the pause for you. We have the Chariot. So if someone wants to move forward and move into a more like promising future, and they have their emotions in the Chariot, and this is Sagittarius, so it's kind of Cancer and Sagittarius, and it's like the divine forces are working with you. So whatever it is that you are, it might be flight or moving as well, because sometimes when you see this card, it's like a person pick up all the things that they own and are moving. So here we are seeing a lot of movement as well. So sometimes it's like a person pressing down what they really want to say, but then they are saying it anyway. But the Chariot is good. It's like you're approaching something, or you have seen what it is that you want, but you're facing danger on the way, like with the Moon card here, and it might have something to do with this, that you don't want to tell, or people don't want to tell to you. It might be some lies or illusions, or you're feeling something, but maybe your feelings are not confirmed. It's like you can feel like a person loves you, but they don't tell you, or you can feel like a person is unfaithful, but they say they are not. So you feel that you don't know what to trust. Should you trust your own instinct, or should you trust what the person is telling you? I think you should do both. You should trust your own instinct. If you feel like a person is love you, but they can't tell you, they probably love you, but they can't tell you. But if they don't tell you, they don't value you and the relationship enough for you to continue that relationship. So you can know that they love you, and they can still not share that with you, and the relationship is still over, okay? And it's the same thing. If the person says that you feel that they are unfaithful, but they say they are not, but the conclusion is that you don't trust them. So again, the relationship is in danger here, or you might need to, like, you need to communicate maybe and say, I feel jealous, I don't feel safe, I don't feel like that I trust you. So it must be something fundamentally wrong with our relationship if I can't trust you. And it might be that you want to go into new adventure, and you feel like your soul wants this, but you're very unsure what this will bring. It's like you don't know what will happen. So it's very scary, and in the same time it's an adventure. And here we have the Judgment. So you have all major arcana card here, movement with the Chariot, moon. You don't know really where you are going. And the Judgment, it's like the divine has a lot of high demands on you, and you need to keep yourself really sharp, like sharp. Ace of Swords, sharp. As I said, trust your own instincts and act accordingly. Don't let yourself, like, this is the Judgment, having a clear judgment, seeing the truth, having awareness, consciousness, being awake, taking responsibility for the things that you see, not trying to continue to live in an illusion and pretend like, well, they might love me anyway. Well, if they don't tell you, it doesn't matter, because love needs to be built on action, not just, you know, some sniff of, it might be love here. So it needs to be like action, someone really showing you love. And both of you are communicating in a way that makes you both feel loved and appreciated and safe and sound and, you know, everything like this. This is how you build a relationship, with consistency. If you say something, you do it. If you promise something, you do it. That's consistency. And it builds a foundation in the relationship. It makes you trust each other. Like, if he says this, he will do it. If she says this, she will do it. So always this consistency. And if you feel jealousy, for example, it might be tricky, because it can be like memories from past lifetime. Like, every time you get into a relationship, you start to feel jealous, or like there's something fishy going on. And it might be because maybe your father left your mother after a quarrel when you were 3 years old, or 5 years old, or 10 years old, and you can't trust that the situation is going to continue. So every time you get something valuable in your hands, you also get very scared that you will lose it. So you need to keep your head really clear in this situation. Figure out, is it me? Is it my childhood wounds or my previous experience making me very suspicious here? Or is it that the fact that this person is, I can't trust them? And it might be like a little bit of both. So again, communication. You need to tell them, I feel that I don't trust you. I don't know if it's because of my previous experience that it's not been that great, or if it is that you are actually not trustworthy. So we need to work on this. I will try to trust you more, and you need to show yourself more trustworthy. And if they don't do that, then you need to take another decision, and maybe probably to leave the relationship, because people, if you let people take you for granted, they will. Okay, so if you say something, you need to be able to stand for that also later on. And it's also for your health. If you stay in a relationship that makes you go crazy, it's not going to be good for either of you. Of course, you can withdraw just like one step and say, okay, I still don't feel that I can trust you, so I think it would be good if we take a pause with 2 weeks, and we can both think. You can think if you will be able to do the things I required of you, and I will think if I can hurt myself further and be in a relationship where I don't feel safe. Okay, so this is just an example. It doesn't mean that you don't feel safe in your relationship. It just means that here you're going into something that you really care for. It really makes your heart like burst out in joy, and your soul has this longing. But it's also very scary, and you need to be very awake during this time. Like snap awake. Be really aware of what's going on, and what's projections, and what's like. Also listen to the thing that people say, and not just feel like you will feel a bad feeling afterwards, and then you need to retrace your step and see what it was that made you feel like this, and then maybe approach this person. Like, you said something before that made me like feel a little bit uncomfortable. You said this. What did you really mean? Sometimes we don't want the answer, so it might be this, that you don't want the answer. You don't want to know, because if you knew, you would have to take a decision. Like, a person can say, they can say something that makes you know that they lied to you before, but you don't address that, because you don't want to cause troubles. You don't want to really see the truth of things. But here with the Emperor, with the Lord, you really need to be like a leader here. You need to be a grown person. You need to take responsibility. You need to be the one that protects yourself and possibly the relationship as well, because if you don't communicate and things like this infester, it will grow and make a threat towards the relationship. But it's like, if you say something, you need to keep that. It's like if you tell a person a promise, you keep that promise. If you tell a person a boundary, you keep that boundary. You don't like, no, later on you say, no, okay, well, she didn't listen to what I said and she didn't care, but well, I will stay anyway because I love her so much. That won't work. That will just put you in an abusive relationship. Even with the most nicest person will become abusive towards you if you don't keep your boundaries. It's like people naturally start to take you for granted if you are wishy-washy like this. And here we have the Nine of Swords, one of the cards that we saw when I shuffled. I think you have 10 of Swords and 9 of Swords, or maybe I'm riding a bicycle here. Maybe it was Aries. I think, yes, it was you. 10 of Swords you got together with some other card that was more promising that I have forgotten. I'm sorry. But with the 9 of Swords here, it's like another person won't care if you're hurting because they don't feel your pain. The only way to make them know how much you're hurting is by action. It doesn't matter how many times you say, well, I feel like you don't love me. I feel like I can't trust you. Okay, yes, I will. I'm sorry. What can I do? But if you walk out the door and say, well, I had big hopes for tonight and I really wanted to see you, but it feels like you're not really happy with having me here, so I will go now. So that will make a person know what you feel inside when you finally take some action and show it and not just complain or being the victim. So it's very important here to be the Emperor, like go into your masculine attributes and start to pointing with your whole hand, showing with your body language, showing with your actions, not just, oh, I feel so much pain here. Because we have the 18 moon and the 9 of Swords. 18, 1 plus 8 is 9. It's connected to the Hermit. So this is a journey inside yourself where you first need to determine what it is that you feel. Then you need to start to communicate it. And then you need to start to take action accordingly with it. And that is how you align yourself with you. That is how you become authentic and become your true self. And it might be, for some people, it might be that you love somebody a great deal, but you are not being able to be authentic and show it because you don't have kind of the balls to do it, and you end up alone and in misery. So that's another way to interpret this as well. Okay, so this was the past, and it seems like something is really cooking here underneath the surface, and you need to find out what it is and be able to communicate it. So here we had this person carrying this burden, not being able to communicate themselves. It's like you're holding back your natural self because you fear the consequences. You don't want to awaken the sleeping bear or make an unnecessary conflict. But even if your heart pounds really hard in your chest, you really need to anyway communicate the truth that's inside of here, because in other case it will just end up in a volcanic eruption or in someone leaving. They have had enough, you get enough because you didn't say. So it's also like when people are very empathic and very loyal and they don't tell what they really mean and they just bend their rules all the time, that is not really fair towards the other person, because someday you will get tired of bending and just like, okay, no. And you will also be overwhelmed by that person or that relationship. So it's much better if you always tell people what you feel and what you like and what you dislike. And then they know the rules. And you will just not, be very nice until you fly off your handle one day and become crazy and just leave the situation. So it's much more honest if you really always are brave enough to tell people how you feel And also always take responsibility for what you feel. I feel that I can't trust you. It might be a various reason to why I can't trust you, but I feel I can't. And we are a team, so you need to help me. And if we are not a team, you need to tell me. And then I know why I don't trust you. Okay? So, and here we have the now. And here we have the hangman, and the hangman is number 12. We also have the death here. So it seems like you need to sacrifice something. It might be your ego that needs to go, like ego won't survive either hangman or death. Ego is maybe you don't want to tell a person how much you love them, because if they don't love you back, you will lose your face. Or you might not want to tell a person that you're hurting, because then they can use that against you, and it will make you vulnerable. But that is ego things, because if you show your vulnerability and the person isn't like taking that in, like protecting you with that information that you have given them, it's just like a hint towards that this person is not loving you. If they loved you, they wouldn't use your vulnerability. And you can't be so sensitive. You need to tell them that too. You need to tell them, well, now you used the time when I told you how difficult this was for me, and now you're telling me like I'm crazy because I think this is difficult. So how am I supposed to trust you or be in a relationship with you when I can't tell you my worst nightmares and fears without you using them against me? Can you please respect me in this? And we start to square one here. Okay, I told you this, and what you do with this information? What do you want to do with this information? Do you want to use it against me, or do you want to use it so you know how you can support me and help me to build myself up together with you? So if the situation is the 12 hangman is about sacrifice. You can see this world is totally upside down, because this person is not hanging upside down. You see, they are hanging like right in the right way, and almost like in a it's like a straitjacket, or in a like Iron Maiden. But here is actually the the gravitational pull. This is the tree, it's the roots, and here's the crown, so it's hanging against the gravity. So this is a situation when you, for example, love a person so dearly and so deeply, and you can't imagine to live without them, but they don't care about you in the same way, and you know it. With their action, you know it. With how you feel inside, you know it. So you just let them go. And you decide to sacrifice them, because if they don't love you enough, then they are supposed to be in a relationship with someone that they actually love, and you are supposed to be in a relationship where you actually are loved. So you take this, you do this sacrifice for the greater good of everyone, and that is going to kind of make you enlightened, and it will make you come out of this straitjacket when you are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. I love someone that doesn't love me. Okay, so I leave them and I still love them, and that's my burden. I can't change them. I can't change how they feel towards me, and I will love them maybe to the end. But it doesn't matter. I can't be with a person that doesn't love me back or doesn't respect me back. And it might be in so many different situations. It might be family situation. It might also be work related. If people doesn't appreciate you at work, if they don't ever see what you're doing and never give you the pat on the back and saying great job, well, maybe you are in the wrong place. Maybe you should be somewhere where people actually appreciated you. And this is how you take those big life decisions that turns your life around and make it into a beautiful one. When you are able to take this, do these big sacrifices, because what you sacrifice, like in the downward spiral when things are not going so great, is the energy that you're actually going to be able to use when you kind of start to descend again, and that energy is released for you to use here. So if you release an old relationship here that didn't work, you will get a new one here that has the chance of working. So very much major arcana card. Only one, the Nine of Swords in this here, is not major arcana card. So it seems like Gemini is going to some big challenges that's actually going to, it's like you're going to like a steel bath, or yes, like the moon, like a big test of some sort, where you really need to keep your mind clear and see what's what, and taking very, very good decisions, because in other case it will like become even worse for you, or you might even turn like ill, like turn into depression or something, just because you try to bend over backwards in a way that's not natural for you, and that's not accordingly with your soul. You're not supposed to crawl for someone else, and they are not supposed to crawl for you. Sometimes we need to, if we have done something stupid. This might be like a person need to say that they're sorry. They are so full of regret. They have done something stupid. And they can't admit to doing this stupid thing, and they can't say that they're sorry, and that is what they need to do. So this might be it as well. It doesn't matter what kind of situation you are in. Either you have like let someone use you as a doormat, or you have used someone as a doormat, and in that case you need to say that you're sorry. The next card here is Seven of Wands. So Seven of Wands is it's Leo in Jupiter, Jupiter in Leo, okay? And it's so it's about honor and standing up for what you believe in, having like a straight back, being able to stand this straight and not like this full of shame or humility, or like this can be if you are like the pride with guilt, or if you are hardly, like really badly victimized, and this is when you just sacrifice the situation, or you sacrifice the guilt, and you say, okay, I will stand up straight, I will do what's right. And it depends about your situation what you will do, but it's a 7-7, so it's challenging, very challenging time, but it will be greatly rewarding if you do this, and you do this with honor, because you will probably release a lot of karma, like a bunch of karma. It will be like a big breath, like out, like whew. Finally you can, this big sigh of relief, and tons of karma will leave you. So don't be afraid, be very strong in this situation. And here you have a Knight of Wands. So it might be that you need, it's kind of the Chariot energy, it's the horse there in the beginning. So it might be that you have like a certain thing on your mind, something that you want. Either you want maybe a love relationship that is actually going to make you happy, or maybe you actually want to finally come forward to that you want to make someone else happy, and it's like this beautiful energy. Just go for it, just do what it is that your soul feels. Don't wait. What are you waiting for? Don't wait anymore. Throw yourself out there. Do the things that are necessary to change this situation, to have a positive outcome. And here we have the Four of Cups, and it comes underneath the Emperor. So it's something with the Emperor's feelings here that needs to be meditated on. What can it be? It's like a person that not really knowing what they want. So before you go and say you're sorry to someone and say you want a second chance, think of if you really, really want that person for real, or if you just want, you know, to make up and be friends, and then there's no, you don't mean any business with this. So that might be one thing. Or it might be like this as well. If you are the person that sacrifice a relationship with someone that's a little bit smug, they come back, but they don't mean so much with that. Okay, so they haven't really thought this through. And here we have the Empress. So the Empress comes together with the Emperor. So it seems like there's a situation where people are kind of soulmates. They belong together, but they act like they are like enemies and hurt each other and act like, well, this person, like the Emperor here, the masculine energy, it might be a girl that has this masculine energy, like I just care for myself, no one else. Or it might be a female that, a male that has this energy. But it's the masculine energy, like the one that took you for granted in this case. And it continues on doing so. It has this back turn against this person hurting, and this person maybe wanting love and wanting commitment, because the Empress is all about commitment. She wants to build bridges, and she wants to receive, like give love and receive love. It's like this We can see the green in her skin. It's like the chlorophyll in the leaves. It needs sunlight, and it's like this, it needs each other. It's like a symbiosis. So it needs symbiosis. By the Emperor is more like square and have boundaries, and may not need symbiosis in the same way. But we both have male and female contribute. So one part of us needs love, and the other one needs boundaries. And here I feel like it's an abusive situation where one is like totally just in their masculine side and keeping a lot of boundaries and not sharing themselves with a person that has given up their lifeblood for them. So if you are this person giving up your lifeblood, stop. And if you are this person, if you don't mean business with someone, leave them alone. Just leave them alone. Don't ever talk to them again if you don't mean anything with it, because it will just like renew hope and kind of tear up old wounds. Let the person heal and move on if you don't have any serious intentions with them. Okay. So that was death. So difficult decisions needs to be made here. And here we have the future. So the future is going into the later part of December. And here we have the lovers. So we see that the Emperor and the Empress belongs together, but there needs to be a huge sacrifice being made for this relationship to come to its fruition. So for example, the person that has been victimized is walking away, sacrificing the relationship, and then the other person, it kind of becomes balance in the relationship. Then this is balance, and then the other person can feel that they actually love them and want them back. Or this person decides that well, I don't love this person, so I will step away, and I can't feel that there's any, like, I don't want this person. I feel bored. I feel like enough is enough. It's too much of a good thing. It's like they are all over me, like this cheerleader thing. And when this person leaves this situation, they might find someone that they actually love for real, instead of someone that they just take for granted. So that might be the thing as well. Say no to what you don't want, because then you might be like offer something that you actually do want. Okay. And here we have the 9 of Wands. So we see that the 18th moon is increasing into a 7 of Wands and then a 9 of Wands. So the person that feels deceived or not valued or not loved is going to start to become very protective of themselves. So I think if this energy that took things a little bit for granted comes back, they might realize that this person has gone through hell and back, and now they don't want them anymore. So it's like this energy doesn't want them anymore. So even if the one side decides that, well, there was love there, okay, now when we're not in each other's face, I feel the love and I want to get it back. The other person might have not moved on, but kind of put themselves behind barricades. Okay, and here we have a 4 of Wands. So the person here that has seen the light in some way, being like talking with the divine and now know exactly what they want, they're still going to go for this, what they want. So I'm feeling like this this masculine energy really wants this particular relationship. Guys can sometimes have hard time to move on from one relationship to another. Even if they can have a lot of girls, they have the tendency to go back to the first one because that's mom. Okay, but so here I think that this person still wants this relationship, but the person that has barricaded themselves, they don't see this beautiful picture together with this this emperor entity. They just have really bad memories from this, so they are aiming towards a relationship that can actually give them what they want, and they are probably aiming more towards the future and towards the new relationship than wanting to get back to the old one, because the old one carries a lot of bad memories. So I think you are out of tune with your loved one here once again. Like when one person is starting to maybe reflect a little bit more on their own behavior and maybe what's needed. The other person has kind of moved on because they decided that it was like this, that they waited too long. They waited till their love was true before they leave the situation. And then when the love is true, it's very hard to start over, even if this person finally becomes the Prince Charming and wants to do whatever it takes to make you happy again. So so you're a little bit off track, you're a little bit off balance with each other. So I think if the Knight of Wands in this situation really wants back this relationship, they need to be very relentless. Like as relentless they were with turning their back, they need to turn towards this person and really start to build up the trust. Even if this person is like acting like really feisty or doesn't want them back, they need to address them again and again in a loving way and say, I'm sorry for whatever I did. I see that you don't want me back, but I want you to know that I have changed, and I have seen the light. I have seen that you were the one, and I regret my actions. And they might have to say this many times, because this person is so in tune with getting like a new relationship that they don't have these good memories as this person that was well treated has. Okay, and here we have a Six of Swords. Six of Swords here comes underneath the both force. So I think this person is actually growing, and they might not be so smug as I first felt them to be. I think that they are just trying to tune into their emotion and getting to know themselves. They didn't know themselves before, because when you try to be really hard and strict and follow the rules and have boundaries, you might not be so it's like it's not allowed for such a person to cry or show weakness. And when you can't cry or show weakness, you probably don't know what you feel either. So it's like this person is trying to get to terms with what they feel, and maybe being able to tell you, because here it's like a person opening their heart with truth and giving it to you. And we have the Hermit here and the Emperor, so it's like this person is spiritually evolving. So it's sweet, but maybe too late. Oh, and we have the Strength here. So it's I feel like a rather bitchy quality from the former victim. They are not going to ever be a victim anymore, and they are super tired of people trying to pull like their leg or fool them in some way. So they are totally just listen to themselves. They might be like a little bit in their own bubble with this. I think it will be hard to see any reconciliation in December, but the Emperor and the Empress so close to each other kind of shows that that this might be happening later on. And for some of you air signs, you are dealing with a fire sign. This is fire. You have the Emperor here. It's also fire. Fire here. Empress is aiming towards Tower. You have Taurus, and you have fire there. So, and here you have fire, Sagittarius, Cancer. This is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, maybe. You have Scorpio there with the Death card. And here you have Ace of Swords. So, I think whatever big challenge you are put in front of, you need to follow your feelings. It's the beacon. So either your feelings tells you that you can't live without this other person, and either you wait for them to get their things together, or you don't give up on trying to get back a lost love. If you feel like you have done something bad, you apologize, and eventually maybe you will build up something. But don't apologize or try to build something with a person if you don't mean business, okay? That's just cruel. Here we have this. So I think it will take some time before these two parties are on the same page. So it might need to like flow a little bit of time, and people need to have certain experience before this what you want to have happen can be able to happen. So it's like this person that wants love here, they need to have like a lot of tolerance with this person being like very protective, and the wounds need to probably have some time to heal. But love is definitely there, and it's probably a soulmate relationship, but it's a soulmate relationship is here for you to grow. So there will be a time of growth and not so much love maybe during this time. It might be that you will communicate, but it might be a little bit sharp, at least from one end. So vibrational energy, dream catchers and forces of nature. Forces of nature, it's the volcanic eruption I was talking to you about. So I'm thinking following your inner nature, like even if it has like high demands on you to do things that might be scary. If you have ever watched a thunderstorm, you will have seen that when it reaches its peak, the crack of thunder and electrical vibrations flow from heaven to earth in a momentary flow, reconnecting and energizing it from within. Then it passes, allowing a stillness to open up, letting us know all is calm and refreshed. Don't fight what cannot be controlled. Just let it go. So I think that if you have like this person being very defensive here, it might be like time needs to pass by before you can approach them again if they are like in a thunderstorm right now. And also this, like, trust your inner nature. It wants to fix something, like that energy flow with the flashes and everything. It's going to make something happen, like put the vibration in such a frequency so you will be able to heal and move on to whatever it is, either a new relationship or to reconciliation. We can't see that just yet. Dream catchers. Without sleep, there are no dreams. Without dreams, there is no future. Take time to visualize your dreams and manifest them into reality. Every time you sleep, the vibration is open to you if you want to take a glimpse into the unknown and create what you want. Take the step in dream state and see them as the now truth. So I'm thinking that one person is very keen on having a very stable, beautiful love relationship. And if this is you, really start to dream about that thing. Like start to build up the vibration of it all. You don't have to do it by night. You can do it by day. And dream beautifully about this new future that you want. And either you will be a vibrational match to your this partner here, or you won't. Whatever, you will have a vibrational match to something that's beautiful. And that is all that you can ever ask for. So it doesn't matter if it's your ex soulmate coming back and everything is wonderful between you two, or if it's someone new, because the importance is that you have stepped into a new vibrational match and are matched towards a more prosperous situation. So you're sacrificing the old to have a chance for something that is better, more stable, more like, you see the respect and love between these two people. They're not going to make each other feel left out in the cold, or not loved, or anxious, or worried, or anything. They are going to see to that both are healthy in this relationship. So this is what I think that you want to aim towards, and you need to move on with strength to get this. Like, you personally need to move on and get strength. But for some of you that needs to say that you're sorry, you might need your strength to talk the truth with someone. But you remember they won't be very happy with that. But eventually they will, probably, okay, with the time card. So my dear Gemini, I hope this helped. I want you to take really good care, and I welcome you back to the mid-month reading that I will perform in the beginning of December. Okay, bye-bye.